We are here at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Jim's going towards the door. Look, there's a car wash going on. What are you buying today?
Knock sensor.
For my Mazda. So we're going to pay for the parts. There goes another $100. Gotta get it done. What did you get at O'Reilly's?
Got a knock sensor for
And what did that cost?
$120.
$125. Yesterday was about $80 here for antifreeze, oil filter, and Amazon delivered what yesterday?
Shots and struts.
And that was another $225. So old Mazda is getting a really good update today. So got to run to the grocery because ribs are going on the smoker, and then we're going to work on this car. Let the work begin. He's putting it up on the ramps. He got it. Woohoo! He's scared.
Okay, today we're replacing the knock sensor on for 2.3 DISI turbo.
My Mazda. That's a 2008.
2008.
You're like, why are you putting money in it? Because it's paid for.
Because it's paid for, it runs.
It's a nice little
You
running
gotta
car.
take all this crap off of it.
You got to empty the antifreeze and all that.
Antifreeze, and I'm gonna give it an oil change, which it's overdue.
You're going to change the spark plugs.
I'm gonna change the spark plugs.
Okay, where do you start?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm looking.
Should you take pictures as you go to know what goes back?
I've got a video that I can watch.
All right.
And 99% of it's 10 millimeter. I guess I should go down and take the belly pan off so I can drain the antifreeze. Which I'll throw my rug underneath.
He has a rug that he got from our son and daughter-in-law, and he uses it out here to lay on when he's working on vehicles. And yes, he is a mechanic by trade, but he's an electrical lineman. Does not work in the mechanic field.
Get my impact.
You got your impact?
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
I'm gonna go underneath and get the 10 or so bolts that hold the flap up. It's called a body pan, but it's called a skid pan, but it's plastic.
All right, so he's going under to do that. We'll let you know how he did. There's no reason to film him laying on the ground. Right, he got all the bolts out for that pan, and we put them.
Laying underneath.
Pan's laying underneath. We put them here. He is going to go get the oil drain pan to drain the oil, because that has to be done. And then,
Well, it needs an oil change, so.
but you've got to change the oil, take the oil out to do what you need to do. No, oh, just because it needs done. So that's why he's doing that. But he also has to drain all of the
She
antifreeze
don't
out.
drive far enough for me to do a regular oil change. I have to do it every year.
You can see under there, there's the oil pan he uses to drain, and that did have oil in it. So he drains it into this oil bottle, the used, and then he takes it and recycles it either at O'Reilly's or up at the campground where they collect the oil or work. There's a glare, but look, he lives the life of luxury. He has a TV on the wall out here, and there's a fan should he need it. And I know there's two more out here, but thank you, Treasure Hunting with Jeebus. A smart TV for $1 at their garage sale, guys. You see, it's still dripping a little. And there's the cover laying back there that he had to take off under here. What are you doing now?
New problem. We had a problem with the radiator, trying to pull the drain plug out of it, and I broke the drain plug. And nobody, even Mazda, doesn't have a drain plug.
Well, and if you did get a drain plug, would it thread back in?
I don't know. What happens if I hit the... So we're just going to put a new radiator in it.
Oh, it's turned into an expensive weekend, dear.
Yeah.
Well, you called your sister and she could, what, said $300?
Yeah.
So then you called another place, and how much was that?
$265 or something.
So there you go, guys.
I gotta get it too.
It's been an expensive weekend, but you know what? It needs done. You need to do it. You need to take care of the vehicle. This way, it could give me that much longer time. Oh, it's getting serious. Look at the pry bar. I'm getting worried. Oh, you were trying to unsnap that?
Oh.
What? Oh, look, you could have just pulled that thing. See, he's got a little table set up here. So now, where is the radiator? I guess it's this thing right here.
Yeah, it's all this right here.
So all of that has to come apart now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we'll show you after he gets it taken apart, gets it out. Don't you have to poke a hole in the bottom down there to drain the radiator that you have the bucket there for?
No, I'm gonna make a mess.
No, you're not making a mess. You're crazy. You're just giving me a hard time.
No, I'm gonna make a cotton picking mess.
Did you hear that? He's cotton picking now. Anything else to say?
I guess I should have set that off. I gotta figure out how. Hopefully I ain't gotta take the front end off his car.
Well, I think we better pause this for now, and we'll come back and show you more once he figures out what he needs to do.
Alrighty, I had to unplug these, the wires from the fan, and all the way across. Got to take this off of it. Already took the 3 bolts out from the top. There's 3 bolts in the bottom I gotta go get, or 5 bolts, because there's a right down there, right there. Can't get right there at my fingertip. Got about 4 inches over from it. It's 2 more bolts I gotta get. There's 5 bolts on the bottom I gotta take out to take the shroud out, and then I'll undo that, and I'll undo the bottom radiator hose. And hope not to get wet.
I don't know if you videoed, but Jim just got the antifreeze out of the car. And he took a little bath, so I went and got him a towel. That's a rag that we can just throw away when he's done. But what a job this has turned into to get that radiator out of here.
That's why I don't like working on my cars.
Well, this will probably be the last.
No, it won't.
Probably not.
This would be a $8,000 to $1,000 job, what I'm going to do, but
And that's not including the parts.
right.
Because they could have very well broke off that plug too to the radiator,
Yeah,
right?
Then they'd have called us, hey, you need a new radiator.
And then they would have probably
Cost you
charged
$400.
for the radiator or more, and then labor. So guys, I know that this is not enjoyable for him, but it has to be done. This is reality, and he knows how to do it. Is it loose or is it aggravating?
It's aggravating.
Is this where you disassemble most of this engine?
Yeah.
Just to get to, I know, the spark plugs.
And the knock sensor.
Oh, and the knock sensor. That's the main thing. This knock sensor's been showing a code for quite a while, but we knew it wouldn't hurt the vehicle.
It wasn't knocking.
Yeah. So it's a typical thing, I
It's
think.
typical on Mazdas is what I was told. It's a typical.
So, but since it needed a full tune-up, he says, I'm not doing the spark plugs and all of that without replacing the knock sensor. So now he has to
Even to do a tune-up.
This
This
all
whole
has to
top's
come.
got to come off.
Is this worse than that truck over there?
No.
No? Which is worse? The truck?
This one.
Oh, this one. That's what I said.
Oh yeah, this
Okay,
is worse.
this is worse than the truck.
Because you got hoses that you got to mess
All
with.
this. In a small area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can watch Slot Hubby on the Slot Queen channel. I've got my fan going and I've got my chair. Hey, what a life. Down in here, he's working trying to get these hoses off.
Transmission lines. But they're turned, but they won't come off.
You got that one, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got one more to go. Guys, this has been a real pain in the you-know-what just to get this radiator out. Oh my gosh, it came out. He got it. Can you?
Rag.
Well, you told me you're going to stuff a rag in it. What's that?
Just for that piece right there.
That is what broke. Move your finger. I
I'm
can't.
dripping.
Oh, well, his finger is right there, and that's the drain plug that broke when he.
And you
went to
can't buy one.
And if you did, what if it didn't thread back in and you ruined the thread when you got that out? So yeah, there was another what, $270 just in a new radiator today. Is that gonna make it all better? A homemade ice cream break?
Maybe.
Well, I hope so, because you really had to work hard. So how is your ice cream?
Peanut butter and chocolate.
Good?
Good.
It's serious. You got the O-light out. What is going on, Jim?
I'm about ready to tow it over to the repair shop and tell them to finish it.
Well, you know you won't do that. That's just all talk. So, what is the deal? This is
I
all...
gotta take the belt off. I gotta take this off to get this off to get to the knock sensor.
He's already to the point where he could put the spark plugs in, but that's not going to take care of the engine light, correct?
Right. And since I got it this far down, you might as well do this spark plug.
All right.
It's never been done. It's got 100 and some thousand miles on it. It's time.
You know, a 2008 with 100 and some thousand miles isn't really too bad, is it? But we got to try to get her done. Been kind of a frustrating day for you. Oh, look at that look. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Okay, radiator. Get down to where I'm at now. I'm gonna put it back together so she can drive it, and I'll do it on another day. I will do the knock sensor.
But what's going on for you to get to the knock sensor?
Well, the belt's got to come off.
That right
I can't get
there,
to the tensioner.
which is way down there.
Which I don't know if they make a special tool for the Mazda, but I rented the tool that's supposed to do it.
He went over to O'Reilly's, rented the tool. So at this point, we're putting the new spark plugs back in? Or putting spark
We're
plugs?
putting these spark plugs back in because it needed it. It needs new coils, but if I would like to put new coils in it, but it's $256. They was cheaper on Amazon, but we'll take care of that later because we ordered a set that said 4CX7.
Right, we spent money on a set that now we cannot return because it's been way too long. So, you know, you live and learn. Buy local. Unless you're going to work on your vehicle ASAP, do not buy your auto parts on Amazon.
And we're too busy to...
Yeah, so that was our fault. You know, if you're going to work right away on a car, order on Amazon. But if not, wait and buy local, that you can always have a recourse at taking stuff back. So we have started this morning. You probably started out here about after getting stuff 10 o'clock. It's now a good 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
This should have been done. It's a 2.5 hour job according to the people on YouTube. 2.5 hour job. most of them's got all the tools to do it. I didn't know you had to take the power steering pump off until I watched the video for the third time. I missed that thing.
So, I freaked out. Spark plug fell. He says he can get it. Whew. Thank you, man above. All right, so long story short, we probably didn't need to replace a radiator. If not
Yeah, we did, because evidently there is coolant passages through the intake.
Okay. All right, so now you're getting the spark plugs in. You're going to put the cap back on, and you're going to put it back together, correct?
Right.
All right. I mean, you're nuts, isn't it?
It's not going to win.
So what are you going to do? Because you've got to get to a nut, like down here, right there, where your flashlight is.
Yeah, all the way
And
down
you
to the
can't
bottom.
get anything in there. But didn't you say you have to take this off?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Oh,
That's 1, 2, 3,
I'll
4,
be
and
dipped.
Yeah.
He does have all the spark plugs changed. There's only 4 because I have a 4-cylinder. You know, the other thought is once we sell and get a building and he has a garage to put it in, and we have another vehicle that I'm not relied upon this vehicle every day to continue fixing it, then hey, it could be a year before it gets done. But really, I wasn't having any problems from it. I think the spark plugs really needed replaced and a little bit of issue there.
They did, but the light being on, you was getting all...
I'm not so worried about the light. It's been on forever. But I think the spark plugs really needed changed. We're just discussing this bolt and
belt tensioner.
Belt
The
tensioner.
belt tensioner is keeping me from getting the belt off, so I can take the power steering pump loose.
Did it get you?
It felt like it. But I think the belt tensioner is froze, so
So therefore you...
we'll have to buy a belt tensioner, idler pulley, because when you replace the tensioner, you replace the idler pulley. That's just a given.
So it's really bothering you.
It's peeing me off.
And that's putting it nicely. Well, I got good news for you. In 1 hour, your ribs are going to be ready on the smoker.
Good. And I may just sit down and think about this, and may just do it tomorrow.
You want to make a confession here, Mr. Hudson?
It ain't gonna beat me.
He won't give up, guys. This is day 2. His clothes are clean because I refused to let him come out here in his second day in dirty clothes. So he's like, where's my clothes? I'm like, get them out of the dryer. So he is not going to allow this to beat him. He has done lots of research between last night and now. So fingers crossed, say a prayer. More has been taken off the engine. What was that part of the manifold?
Well, that was the intake manifold.
Intake manifold. All to find where this part goes. This $125 part has caused all of this work that Jim would not give up on because he's not a quitter. Do you see it? He found it. Oh my God. All of that to get to that. Now, let's see if the other fits.
Oh, it'll fit.
Cannot believe that he is able to get to this.
Hey, don't ever doubt your husband.
I don't doubt my mechanic husband. Look, now he's got to get that clip thing apart. And I know he's had problems with it, or with other ones, but he got it just fine. So that little screwdriver I found him in the house will do wonders. There he's got that new $125 part in his hands. And he's going to connect it into here, and then all of the stuff you had to tear apart can be put back together.
Yeah.
But you have ordered parts for the other side.
Being a little easy.
All right, the parts that you ordered for the other side, you can go ahead and start putting this back
This all
together.
go back together. This.
Okay, that way, because it's not going to be until 10:30, so give them a little after 10:30. And here today, it is Sunday morning, about 10 a.m. And we're trying to beat the heat because it's supposed to be in the 90s later this afternoon. But thank gosh, there's still a breeze. That looks serious. What are you looking at?
I'm find the last hole. You got that one?
All right, that did not beat him. So the intake manifold is going back on.
5, 6.
And you're looking for 8 holes, correct?
I thought I had them. I got one more.
Well, it's not over there on the side where you figured out where to get that last one out, right?
Yep.
I got faith in you, honey. You'll figure it out. Guys, it's not going to whip him. He's going to get this car fixed. And the reason you're not seeing the whole thing is because I couldn't film 5 hours worth of footage, or by the time we get it done, how many hours worth of footage. So I take it you found it?
That don't look like... I need a short bolt.
Oh, and it looks like you got your hand. Got a little
Better
blood
being
there.
a mechanic.
Hey, you know what? That's the first boo-boo, and this is the second day. You've done very well.
I usually all screw.
So there's his work table. Right, I've had some things I've been doing. Now I'm out here, and he has a lot of that put back together. But what he's doing right now is he put the dipstick back in for the oil, and he's got to take that out to get that fan for the radiator put in, correct?
Yeah, because it will not fit in between.
Okay, so that's what he's doing, but look at the progress he's making. After finding where that daggone part went, that sensor, now he can put it back together. This part of it. He's on the ground, he's on the ground. Oh, he's taken the oil filter out that he didn't do yesterday. So now he's getting that done so he can put a new one in, and oil and antifreeze and all of that stuff. How's it going, Jim?
Put her back together.
Look at this. He's got it almost all back together. He's got the oil change, the filter on, the new oil in. You've got the radiator all hooked up.
Yeah.
Wow. Making headway, guys. Been a long weekend of this car kicking our behinds, but guess who's gonna win? We are.
Always us.
Is it guzzling it?
It's guzzling it.
So you've got the coolant going in. That looks nicer than the coolant you took out.
Yeah, it was time.
Okay, the oil's in, the coolant's going in. One more thing, the idler tensioner. What are you picking up?
Idler pulley and the belt tensioner.
And a belt.
And a belt.
Because that was froze, right?
Yeah.
All right, he's concentrating, guys. It's getting there. It's getting. Hey, why are you taking the wheel off?
Got to replace the tensioner and the belt.
And it's easier to get from there?
Yep.
Look at that. In there, he's got to work in that area. Whew. All right. All right, he's feeding a new belt down here for the idler tensioner, correct?
I'm putting a new belt on it.
Okay. What was your good news about the idler tension? I can't even say
The
it.
tensioner.
Yeah, tensioner.
There's an idler pulley and there's a tensioner.
And it's all one.
No, it's two.
Oh, it's two pieces together that was in that box?
Yep.
Well, you broke loose the one that's on here, correct?
Right. There was two pieces in there, right?
No, they were connected together.
These?
They can probably count that as two.
No, they don't.
That was sealed. I opened it.
Yeah.
That's all that was in it. So now you just got to put the belt on because we can use the existing part. But you did want to put a new belt on, so that's going to be good. And you get that on, and this part should be done.
All right. All right. We've got her back together. Thanks to my neighbor Joe and my son
Adam.
Yeah.
Which son came over?
Adam.
So
They come over and help me get the belt on. It was a pain in the...
I couldn't help him
She
push
couldn't
it.
push it down far enough.
Push it, pull it, whatever. I couldn't do it. I
And
didn't have the strength.
They helped me get it on, thank God. I've put it all back together. We have started it. Still got one code. I will fix that later. But it's nothing to keep the motor from running.
Oh, he can't fit in my car, guys. Poor Jim. Squeeze! Suck it in!
Ready?
Yeah. It runs really, really nice. It just has one tiny miss, and he knows the part that he needs to fix. He'll have to tell you if he knows what it is and what it's called. But man, there's still work to be done. So what do you have sitting in the garage yet that you need to do?
Shocks and struts.
Yeah, I think the back shocks are the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
Guys, this was a job.
Next time I'm going to go to a dealer or I'll sell it.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Mr. Hudson.
I'll give you that one and I'll buy me a new one. Well, end of another video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, comment. It's all free. And we'll talk to y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.